My name is Alexander, and this is the story of how an accidental text message revealed the betrayal that destroyed my marriage. When the notification pinged on my phone, I almost didn't check it. Isabel and I had a casual habit of texting throughout the day. Nothing urgent, nothing extravagant. At the time, I was sitting at my desk, staring blankly at the spreadsheet I had been wrestling with all morning. The small ding of my phone was a welcome distraction. The message was from Isabel. I unlocked my phone, clicked it open, and read, "I can't stop thinking about last weekend at the Shoreline Inn. Everything about it was perfect. The way you looked at me, the way you made me feel. I don't know if I'll ever forget it. Let's make plans to go back soon. Love you." My heart thudded against my chest, slow and deliberate, as though someone had slammed a bass drum inside me. My eyes snagged on one word, Mateo. I reread the message, hoping I had misread. But there it was, Mateo, plain as day. And the Shoreline Inn? I had never been to any Shoreline Inn, let alone with Isabel. Last weekend, I was at a conference in Chicago. I had the itinerary, the flight stubs, and the endless PowerPoint slides to prove it. What was she talking about? Without thinking, I took a screenshot of the message. My thumb hovered over the keyboard, torn between confronting her immediately or taking a more cautious approach. I wanted to call her, demand an explanation, but something stopped me. Instead, I opened a browser and searched for private investigators. I selected a firm with good reviews that specialize in infidelity cases, filled out their online inquiry form, and attached a screenshot of Isabel's message. Before I could second-guess myself, I submitted the form. The response came quickly. A woman named Amanda called me the next morning. Her voice was calm, professional, and oddly reassuring. She assured me that they would handle everything discreetly. A meeting was scheduled for the following day at their downtown office. The office was small but professional. Amanda, a sharp-looking woman in her 40s with a no-nonsense demeanor, put me at ease. I explained the situation, laying out everything I knew, which, admittedly, wasn't much beyond the text. "Do you have access to her phone?" Amanda asked, pen poised over her notebook. I shook my head. "We don't snoop on each other like that." "Good," she replied. "If she notices you looking through her messages, she'll get suspicious. Let's keep this clean. I'll have my team monitor her movements, especially on the weekends. If there's something going on, we'll find it." The word "if" felt like a lifeline, though I didn't deserve to cling to it. There was no if about it. Was there? The text had been explicit. Still, I nodded and handed over the retainer fee. The following week was torture. Every time Isabel smiled at me or reached for my hand, I wondered how much of it was real. She didn't act any differently. No furtive glances at her phone, no unexplained absences. But now, I saw gaps in her alibis I had never noticed before. When she said she was meeting a friend, I wondered which friend. When she ran errands for hours, I wondered where. And most strange of all, she made no mention of the text. I guess she couldn't. Acknowledging it would mean admitting to its content. So, for now, until Amanda gave me something concrete, we were at an impasse of pretending everything was normal. Amanda's updates were sparse but professional. Her team tracked Isabel to her usual haunts: the grocery store, the gym, her favorite coffee spot downtown. Nothing unusual so far, Amanda would say, her tone careful, neutral. But then came the weekend. On Saturday morning, Isabel kissed me on the cheek and said she was heading to yoga. Nothing unusual about that. She always went to yoga on Saturdays. But when Amanda called me that evening, the news hit me like a Mike Tyson knockout punch. She didn't go to yoga, Amanda said. We followed her to a hotel downtown. She met a man in the lobby. They had lunch together, then checked into a room. I clenched my fist, my voice barely audible. "Did you get his name?" "We're still working on that, but we have photographs. You'll have everything in a full report by Monday." When I hung up, I sat in the darkened living room for what felt like hours. My thoughts raced in 1,000 directions, none of them productive. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately. Another part wanted to pack my things and leave without a word. But I had already decided on my course of action. No confrontation, no theatrics, just the evidence and a clean break. Over the weekend, I began packing small things she wouldn't notice were missing. By Monday, Amanda delivered the report. It was comprehensive and damning. There were photos of Isabel and the man, Mateo Alvarado, a colleague from her office. They weren't overly affectionate in public, but their body language spoke volumes. The text messages Amanda retrieved from a recovered phone backup were the final nail in the coffin. They were planning their next getaway. That same afternoon, I contacted a divorce lawyer. Over the next month, I took time off work and systematically packed and moved out while Isabel was at her office. Oddly, she never noticed. I guess she was too wrapped up in Mateo and whatever they had going on. The day she was served with divorce papers, she was blindsided. She called me repeatedly, but I didn't answer. There was nothing left to say. Her messages shifted from confusion to guilt, then to desperate pleas for forgiveness. I ignored them all. By the time the divorce was finalized, I had already settled into a temporary apartment closer to my office. On the day I returned to the house to retrieve the last of my belongings, Isabel tried to speak to me. She looked confused, desperate, and guilty. I handed her my set of keys without a word. As I walked away, I felt lighter. Sometimes, you don't need to rage or cry or ask questions. When someone stabs you in the heart and twists the knife, sometimes it's best to get out and keep moving. And that's exactly what I did.